considering that we are part of those who joined people like you that we met in the front to fight for democracy as a student activist in University of University. We play our part. We've been involved in politics prior to now. We have won the position of president of the student union at 200 level. It's not about money being thrown around, but you convincing students on the need to vote for you. And last year was so unique. We didn't have a hostel that would put students together, so you have to move all around from different locations, different faculty, classrooms. And we have to juggle from Epe campus, where the engineering students were, to Ikeja, where the medical students were just starting, and of course my job. So all of those ideas and ideologues that were on campus, these are people who you couldn't buy their trust. They were treated differently, opinions, they have their own various opinions, and you can't buy them. Compared to circular politics, whereby you could give 500 naira, 1,000 naira to buy votes. So there is sharp difference. And when we came into a democratic dispensation, I have to join first Senator Comrade as the essay on students and programs. And as we know, then he was contesting for governor. And at the same time, I was working for Dr. Beckon and some PT. We had just started the June 12 coalition then with Mr. Wale Okunini. I was the first secretary to Dr. Beckon. And along that line, I got introduced to Chief Anthony Enamoro of Blessed Memories. We also worked with him in the Pro-NACO. I remember my first meeting with him was at the Sheraton Hotel at the poolside, and he was telling us his nostalgia history about how he embarked on his first protest in King's College at year 2. And I became the mobilization liaison officer for Pro-NACO, working directly under Baba Mojola and Alfred Illeri then. So I was all over the place for Pro-NACO. And on what you had, the mobilization and many other things, the groundwork for NACO. And I thought before then I've been the PR of NANS. I was the one that helped unify the NANS after I was fractionalized for a very long time, using the LASU platform as the president and supported by Senator Yomi Jaye, who is your friend Bola Ilori and the rest. We had our first unification meeting in Unila, where Babatunde Ogunbamila was the president of LAS and traveled all over the country. Then to the CDHR-led NANS, and then by Ken Henshaw, propelled by Barrister Tyson, and all of that. So we have to go right. So I'm not new to mobilization. The thing that I enjoy doing, I see that it's calling. Then I was also working with Olusegun Mayegun for Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu and all of that. And then I ran for elections. And I thank God I was supported by Chidemaworo, Asiwaju. And I played my part in the community, boots on the ground, having my meetings every day for 5 years, and strategic meetings, congregational meetings every Monday for 5 years. I had to sell my vehicle that my mom gave me, as I told you one before, my Bluebird 2.0. I sold it for 30,000 naira to produce handbills and all of that. And we thank God we won the elections, and the rest is history. For the mobilization, the organized secretary of the party is very unique. It's more like the director of operations in any organization. He is the engine room. And whatever that is put together as policies, programs, it is the duty of the organizing secretary to implement and action it. And he also brings up ideas, networks to the table for the party to see and see how it will work. What we are bringing to the table more is technology. And we are also bringing an organized system of administration more into contemporary politics. So there's no reason why you have a political system without having systemic meetings
periodic meetings, not far-fetched. Maybe once every month, you have your meetings, and of course you will have retreats, the monthly retreats, where you come to assess the program of the party, try to link the party and the executive legislators together for them to assess the program of the party and how to dish it out to the community. And it is the job of the organizing secretary also to check the pulse of the people, how they are feeling. Maybe many of these policies are kind of not too soothing to people, and see how we can bring it back on board to rework it, because change itself must be gradual. And Nigeria needs monumental changes. We also need people who will not be afraid to put their hands on the plow, because things have gone too upward. And to bring it back requires a lot of energy, thinking, and people's participation. Discipline, most importantly, and selflessness. Without that, we can't go far. But technology will take us very, very far. So, and the youth participation, I don't consider myself a youth anymore. Just of Saturday, I was 47. So, I've enjoyed my youthful time. I was a youth when I became chairman of the local government. I sat for 6 years. I resumed 8 a.m. I closed 3 a.m. every day for 6 years. It wasn't easy, but I burnt my youthful energy serving my local government. So if I consider myself a youth now, then I'm living the time of the youth. If you allow them to live their time, and that was part of what I fought in Conakry, that in our draft constitution, pre-independence, people who govern this country were just in their 20s, little in their 30s. You can only see them in their 40s. None was in their 50s. So why is it so difficult to have people contest election at 18, even up to president at 18? So those were what I fought for in Conakry. And it is the people that will determine either you want to go for a 100-year-old person, you want to go for a 18-year-old person. It will depend on what we are bringing as programs to the table. We've seen some youths who, I won't say they are wasted, but again, a lot of them are not burning the energy to the right direction, and they are misplacing their priorities. Likewise, some old people. You see some old people who have more energy, who have more thinking, more program, more zeal, and the political capital than any of the youth. Take Obama as a case study. Obama could not confront Putin. Putin at many instances rubbished Obama, even to his face. But you have the Biden that is breaking a Putin. Harnessing the potential of the EU and other world leaders to face a Putin against Ukraine. It was on record that the Splinter group from Ukraine, backed by Russia, shot down a private jet in Kiev. Nothing happened. And you have a lot of German nationals in that commercial airline. And Putin was seeing beyond human comprehension. But you see an old man, they are breaking it. So it is what you are bringing to the table. And that is what we want to bring into the table using the office of the organizing secretary.
In your own case, like you said, you think your relationship with someone like Adewale, who even at that time was far older than you, and you've been able to nurture that relationship up to today. How do you do it?
It's like my relationship with you. Many times I offended you. You come into the program, I won't come, I forget to apologize. You look at me again, say I've never been able to do it. So we will always have some little itch. But the beauty of it is that I will consider myself lucky that the elderly ones did not see me as a baby. I remember whenever I sit on the table with Chief Adewale, and Adewale was almost 50 years more than I am. You will sit down, Dr. Jalisala Akonde will sit, Adewale will sit, Alfred Ilere, Edeth Uno. I think I had the opportunity to sit with the Falaye on the same table with all of them. And I'll be secretary. My secretaryship was not about appointment, but they're okay, sit down, right. Okay, from writing, you're not the secretary. You just find out me. You understand? Even when we started the Citizen Forum, when they came, Prof is not around, he's always traveling. And they needed somebody to write. Mr. Wali just said, and I was writing. They sent me for Dr. Beck, but I'll be writing. And none of that. From writing became secretary. But when when I have something disturbing me, I will just say, please, can I ask a question? Then they will allow me. And they will see that the contribution has meaning. And from there, whenever they are going anywhere, I will follow. And likewise for Aswadi, he never despised anybody. For people who care to know, if you go to his nucleus is more of use.
Young people.
His nucleus is more of use. I can tell you 97% are used. His nucleus. Even his businesses. They are youth that you'll be looking at them like, are these people the one managing? And you know, some people can be aged, but they are youth at heart. They are thinking they don't see that age. After when I'm talking to some people and they say, a boss, I'm like, am I that old? So it's of the heart. But again, you must know the red line. You don't cross it. If I have differences or I have contending issues now to discuss with Adewale, I won't ask, can I say, why don't you? There is a way you look at it, you're like, okay. Sometimes you say, okay, go and read this book. When you read it, come back and I will go. And others will be timid. I thought I will go, I'll come back. Even when I was in school, I was never able to my vice chancellor. There were containing issue, riots, and protests and what have you. And I said, sir, I will never be sir, but the students, sir, your map and the students, that way, that answer. The school, I said, okay, that I said, can we go with me and tell them? Yeah. So I have always, and also from my background, I'm privileged to come from a royal background. My mother's great-great-grandfather was the 14th Oloto of Otuanitu. Yes. And all of that. And my great-grandfather was the first postmaster general in Nigeria. We're from Sierra Leone. He was taken as a slave, kidnapped from Ijebu, taken, I think, to Cuba or somewhere in South America. But at that time that they released them and they came back, the boat did not come to Lagos, rather it landed in Freetown. So it was in Freetown, he stayed for a while, got educated, came to Lagos, and married on the Boyo, Chifokoro Boyo. Right? And when my great grandmother was coming, she had 2 slaves. She was a very illustrious person, and they got married, they came here. There were just 3 black men on McCarthy Street. You know, on McCarthy Street, there were National Assembly. Yes. Then De Fernandez was living behind that street. My father had 2 properties. My great grandfather had 2 properties there. Then, from my father's side, my great grandfather was a very strong warrior, had plenty of land and all of these things. But we didn't carry it on our heads. We just believed that we were grown. We were not allowed to see outside of the fence. They would just keep us in the house, train us, allow cousins to come, allow. So it's more of the parenting. And when I came out also, I was lucky to meet people who absorbed me, especially South African because I remember when I left school, my mother wanted me to work with Dangote because we have a cousin that is his private secretary. And I went to Falomo, there are 2 elevators, one for him, one for every other person. It's on the top floor. So I got there, his face is just open, glass, whatever. I dropped my CV with my uncle and then go back to follow it up. I told my father I want to be an activist, I want to learn. And then also I had the Mercedes 200. My father would laugh. Your salary that you are giving him, their first salary will give you 15,000 naira at the graduate. Senator started with 20,000. And my father was like, you are buying fuel of 3,500 full time. So how can you get a house and rent a house with this? But I knew that I wasn't going for the money, I was going for the contact. There are people who I'd love to see. As a student leader then, our reward is that we take picture with Beko, we hang it in the room. We take picture with Ganifa Waini, we hang it in the room. That's our pride. We take picture with Shoyinka, oh, you are a G. That's our pride. And all of that. So that was how we were brought up, and we were brought up to share our toys. That's just it for.
What was the attraction for you, or better put, the motivation, coming from a privileged background that you had, and then choosing to go the path, activism that you have chosen? One would expect that easily you could have chosen a more illustrious path, get a lucrative job and live fine, but you chose, the path that you have chosen. As a young man, then what was the motivation or the attraction for you to go into activism?
Well, I can say it's destiny. I've told you about my ancestry. They were all in public service. The warrior was in public service. The farmer, the king was in public service.
Hmm.
My grandfather was in public service. So there are some things that are in your genes that will blossom when the time is right. I remember when I was a kid, about 4 years old, I would always sit down at the top of our house. We came to Festa in 1979. We were living in 2208 close. Then when the part takes that, I would just be looking in the moon, imagining people are living in the moon. Then I will always have a passion that one day I will govern this country. It has always been that. And I've always followed political activities. Next after election, I remember I would be watching TV. There was one man that I loved. There was Tuji Braithwaite. He was very young. I think he was always coming third or fourth in those elections. Then our neighbor was one man, we call him Baba Opawo. My father he doesn't do politics. He's mind business. He doesn't have my father. But my mother's father died young. He was Dr. Jack Conde's classmate in later grammar school. He was staying up, Jack Conde was staying down. Jack Conde didn't know, but something Providence drew me to him, and he loved me a lot to the extent that he asked me to go and represent him at programs. It was later on in life that my mother now told me, that is my papa's friend now. And so many of these things are embedded. And that is why in criminology, scientists, social scientists will look at the genealogy of some of these criminals to check their offshoots. And that's why some wise men will tell you an apple cannot fall far from his tree. So if you see somebody doing wrong, check their ancestry, check the home, and all of that. So it's normally like that. But for me, I've had passion for that. And by providence, my activism started from the basketball court. Because I'm a lover of football, but I appreciate football. I don't know what they do, but I know I support people that like it. I'm more of basketball, chess, and billiard. But I would organize young ones. I can't play, but when the young ones come, like Face or Two-Face, when they started, was in our hands. And they want to play ball, but my peers, they are more in number. So you can imagine you play ball from 4 o'clock to 6, 7. And those young ones want to play. They don't know how you can have yourself with the big ones. So they will not come with me, bros. Let's choose you. Let's play with you. So that we will enter your set. So I will create a set for them. They will come in and will beat everybody. So I believe fighting for rights, that is where it started from. Otherwise, they will be cheated. Or if you beat a young one, they'll come to call me. I couldn't know that I was so muscular, but they are my colleagues. I will look straight to their eyes. Why will you do such a thing? And I'll caution them. Even the one with bigger, very muscular thing, I will go after you. And the other will go, trying to tell them that look, allow them to also have their time. So I didn't know until I had a turning point of meeting Chief Ganifa in my 100 level. He had come to talk to students on campus. Then, I think Marwa was the governor of Lagos, and they were preventing Gani from coming. Because I think it was either SOB. It was Weki that was there, Wake Up. SOB came after Wake Up. SOB was member of the parliament, in 100 level. They expelled in 100 level. They stayed back in same 100 level. Then Gani had entered the auditorium. Then the DSS, a lot of people were trying to kidnap him there. Then we brought Gani to Abegi in front of LNH. So when they brought him there, I was looking at them. I used to carry camera like this to school. I love photography. They'll be taking pictures. I was looking at this man there talking. Meanwhile, a year before then, a friend of mine, how they made for me, who always come to their house to tell me that this is that, soon I will abuse him, that your glorified secondary that can never come there. So he was always hounding me. The one day I told him, if I come to your school, I'll be the president of the union. Then you show your role and so on. But I said, I will be if I come there. But I wanted to go to the NDA. I wanted to be a soldier from my young thought. I wanted to be a soldier. And I wanted to be a combatant. But my father said, no engineering. Then Commodore Adewale He's dead now. His son was the Amaketu of this that just died recently, Boega. He came one day, we were outside with my dad, and he just opened his book and brought out the NBA form and gave it to me. So I took the form. No, I told him I have to be a soldier. So I had to actually open the books, gave me the form. The guy was looking at me like this and insisted I must be an engineer. So going forward, I couldn't go to NDA and I refused to go to university and all of that. He tried and tried and tried. Some years after, I decided went, chose engineering again for University of Lagos. Professor Obe was the dean of, dean of Faculty of Engineering then. The professor that became the DC died. So I was at the auditorium. He was saying, I was charging us up there. You know, I loved it. I enjoyed it. Jay Motala was VC. So I went up to his office. I dropped my document and said if he does not admit that I was going to kill myself. So I came downstairs. They were doing convocation. I saw a lot of students. They were shouting, ole, 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 abuse in the military. So the military was forcing people. I was there, I was looking at them. I didn't know that I only needed to pay 500 naira to change my course from engineering to estate management. Some people told my father that with 25,000 naira, he was swindled. A day after we got to know, but before my closed. My mother and I went to LASU, met an uncle of mine, Professor Kennedy Obidairo. So Professor Obidairo looked at my result. I had A3 in chemistry. So the man gave me 3 courses, biochemistry, chemistry, and fisheries. So I decided to go into chemistry. So I was in my chemical lab, how they came again, dragged me to the parliament. So I got into the parliament, I sat down, watched them talk. They weren't making sense to me. I quickly took the manual, their constitution or whatever. I read it very sharply. And at the point of order, Mr. Speaker, somebody was the one speaking.
The lawmaker.
Yeah. The one. You know, there is ranking. He was the front with the gown. He now looked back, 100 level student, telling point of order. Look at me. Saromi was the speaker. And I said, order what? I raised it, I spoke. So when we finished, somebody came down. Comrade Adewale, would you like to join our ideological group? I said, no. I won't join. Because I consider myself old at that time. My mates already were getting to finance. So at other level, I couldn't fit in, but I just wanted to pass. So I started, and I found segregated college old boys. I didn't know I was building a structure that was going to help me in time. SOB now ran for elections, Kosoko ran for election, Akim Kosoko, and all of that. I supported Kosoko because it was on science. Then Jaji won. I started putting people gradually. And in my 200, people got to love me because I was a member of the welfare committee of the parliament. I could cook. My parents taught me how to cook since age 9. I could go to the market. I knew how much they were selling all of this thing. I knew the price. And the food vendors were cheating us. They were cooking more of colored rice and call it jollof rice. When you go to the back of their store, the water they were using to wash plate was so dark. The Limca people were taking advantage. So I used that office to correct the food vendor from colored rice to quality jollof rice, to change the soapy water, and they want to bribe us for free food. I think I want to go take free food. And all of that. So I was more on their neck. And I'll call a meeting. I will tell them the price of rice, the price of coffee, the price of pepper. They were looking at me. Then the cost went down. Food got plentiful. Services was improved. Limca started bringing things in. And all of that. Then, and I could spot. I had this way to spot opportunity. So they are told I will go for welfare and to succeed Jaji. And I said, no. I want to run for president. They said, no, you're tired with your madness. No. I said, no, I want to run. He said, scientists have never won an election before. Our numbers are few. He said, it doesn't matter. I have friends all over. A lot of Gregorians were all over, and all of these things. And the so-called Bata people were not coming to politics. So I was dragging them to the union. So they didn't follow me initially, so I put up a team. Akin Ajasa, they are for Oniru, with Elegushi, they were Nubis. They were part of my campaign team. And all of that. So they came and said I should raise Akim up as PRO. I was already supporting Kalmat. And I said, well, your mother is a Lagosian, like blue blood, you must support this and that and that. And I said, okay. Science, vote for Akim. Kalmat was at the window. I felt so disturbed. And I made Kalmat a promise that I will hand over to you. So we supported the one. So there's always been like that. I believe in challenges. I don't believe that we go for things that are not epullient, not cheap things. Even when we were fighting the military, when some people were afraid of starting the protest, myself, Che Guevara, Felix Ashimole, the lawyer now, we will start the process, and thank God for Barrister Ogulano, Shino Ogulano, the former NBA chairman of chairman of NBA Tiger Branch. He was my legal advice. I'm a lawyer since 1998. I was president 1999. And all of that, he will come and advise. We took his school to court, challenged the state, did so many things. We wrote position paper of about 96 pages. Teslim wrote it, is dead now. That is what brought the development in last week. We had a meeting with Adewale for over 7 hours in his office in Alausa. Because we can't carry up was the judge. When we went for DC 98 case, struggle then, the school had expelled over 1,500 students. And we told them, no, they have done matriculation. Why don't you defer the thing? And the school decided not to give us our allowances for school fees. And I damned them. I started the first pure water, started the first newspaper in Lagos State University that became magazines today. I built Akin Unique Photocopying Center. Then we were having photocopiers under the staircase. And all of that, mocked all of them, brought them together like we are, told you build your wall, you build your wall, you build your wall, contribute money and build this one. So 3 there, 21 rooms. I didn't know what was called PPP then, but I had the knowledge. So we created that. So we're getting, and we told them that we will hand that building back to the union in 10 years. And they agreed. So from the process of the water, we were making money. The boss went to Ezebuku then, had an accident, the 1414 bus. I got somebody to fix it for 750,000 naira in 1998. And they said we're going to use it for the Abuja trip for 6 months and return it back. All our buses were there except one 1414, repaired everything, and all of that, gave actually the document. We started this. I started the first shuttle for students, borrowed it from Unilag, the idea, started with the Combi bus. But what color to be painted became a problem. Some say blue, they say blue, they say yellow. If you say yellow, they say and what I said, they paint white and brown. Nobody has that. And we all started. It wasn't easy, but we started and we're making money. We're paying our 2 drivers, we're paying our cleaners, we're doing so many things ourselves, and we're very organized.
Now, sir, student unionism in those days. People I followed and people I saw as mentor. I told you about Shino Ogulan. He's uncompromising and all of that. And then I used to see Malaki from afar, Chima Obama, you know, and all these meetings we go through, you know, you listen. I remember when I would carry my students, we were not for the money, no, we weren't. I would carry my students, we would go, we would listen, we would come back, we would discuss. We had different steps of discussion. As far as a parliamentarian, our argument was very deep. More deeper than what you have in the National Assembly today. We weren't covered by money, but by ideas. You needed to visit our Senate meetings then, in Nantes. Tanko Yakasa is a medical doctor now. He was after the decision to Kwankwanso. He was the president of the Senate when Bashir Abdullah left and Moses Osakede contested for Nantes president in UI, but there was a problem, and I challenged them then before Moses died on his way to Akwanga to resolve Makodi died in Akwanga with Livingstone to resolve students that were wrongfully expelled. Then we also have what we call the activist forum. In Lasso then, activist forum.
whatever you cannot finish discussing in the parliament, you will carry it to the activist forum. You understand? I told them that I'm more of a welfareist. I'm not a capitalist. I'm not a Marxist. Mine is, I'm a realist. But of course, I believe in Marxism-Leninism. I know a lot about Marx, Trotsky, and the rest. But bringing it to our own society, for me, was more of welfare, was more of building systems, was more of reaching out to people. Then we have the judiciary. So I was almost expelled, impeached at the point then. Why? My involvement in the 1999 political activity, which in our constitution, it was stated that we should not get involved in partisan politics. And that was one of the mistakes we did then in 1999. Somebody like Shehu Sani, people like him, Bob D, and the rest would have entered the National Assembly and everybody then. But the left took a decision that until they had a constitution, they should not take part in the Abu Salami transition program. But thank God for Asiwaju and Senator Fikuyomi that went in. If not for that, we will not have any left in government. And it would have been worse off now. Now it takes blood, money, and guns to win elections. If you want to use mouth, ideology, you're far off. I'm going nowhere. So that is, but the only thing you can also do is build mass movement. Build mass movement, the people will determine what happened. You understand? So I took part. Myself, Akim Ajasa, Teslim, Baba Lega. We used the resources of the school. When I say the school, the union, then it was Tensu. We didn't go to make any printer. We bought A4 paper, 20 rings. We bought stencil. We wrote positions on the need to vote for those who have fought for democracy and those who fought to bring about June 12 and all of that. Of course, the way we wrote it, you will know that we are talking about Nadepu and all of those things. So the opposition infiltrated into some students. They took me to the parliament and said I was using student resources to encourage people to vote for people of the left. I said I had the responsibility to educate people on who they should vote for and how to spot those who you vote for. So we took the leaflets all over Lagos and everything. I was told to step down as the president, which I did. I came to the parliament, which I did. I put my position before the parliamentarians. I was exonerated, told back to go to my office, that I committed no wrong. They took me to the court. I went to court. We had the National Court, mind you. I went to court, had my lawyer from Denning Chamber. We had different chambers there, Denning Chamber, Gani Chamber, Lincoln Chamber, in the Faculty of Law. I got my lawyers. We went there. I was defended. I came back to sit. It's not about the brigandage that you see. So we went through the rudiments. And that is why I've always told school management, hands off unionism. Allow them, it's an extracurricular activity. Allow them to practice on leadership. There is no school of leadership training here in Nigeria. All the founding fathers of the African states were student union leaders. Yes. Nkrumah learned under Zik. Awolowo was a student union leader. And many of them, including Marco Garvey, many of them were student union leaders. And when they finished, they came back to Africa, fought for liberation, and got independence. The same thing that is happening now, but now it's lacking. So when you see the student misbehaving, you see youth misbehaving, trace the problem. The management have hijacked the platform. And Imodu did say something before he died, that there are two platforms where you train leadership, the youth platform and the student movement. Imodu didn't go to school, but Imodu was trained through the youth movement. Awolowo and the rest were trained through the student movement, including this man is dead now, the former ambassador of the US here.
Carrington.
Walter Carrington. He said something. He said they were the one that paddled. He used the word paddle. Martin Luther King into their fraternity. Then, in the US, into the student movement then. And that was where Martin Luther learned his activities from. So we can't move out of it. And I beg you, press people, to speak to people in corridor of power. One of the things that we need more, allow independent unionism. Let the dean of students be guiding them. If they steal or mismanage funds, let them face their parliament. If they are not satisfied with the outcome of the parliament, let them go to their judiciary. And that is why LASU had always brought out the best student in any school, like this law school. That's why always produce brilliant students because of all the systemic steps that they learned from on campus. So those are the things.